everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Christine. I'm here to do a weekly wrap-up and what I'm going to be reading this week. I will try and get a November TBR up and a book haul because I have a stack of books that I got from library bookstore. One other thing that happened after surgery that was kind of freaky, but it has to do with the diabetes, was I didn't lose my vision, but I couldn't see. Everything was blurry, and it took 3 weeks for that to come back. So that was, yeah, I couldn't read for 3 weeks. I could see far away, but it was still blurry. So that was not fun. So the first book I finished, well, I think, yeah, Dream Wears a Dream. Pebbles is gonna leave pretty soon. Or just block the view. Pebbles. Okay, she's gonna lay down. Hopefully. Death Wears a Mask by Ashley Weaver, and it's book 2 in the Amory Ames mystery series. Yeah, book 2. So this one takes place, I think, 2 months after the first book. And of course her husband, everybody thinks he's cheating on her, but are they at a party first? They get, oh yeah, she was talking to a mother's best friend, good friend, and she invites her to a dinner party. So Amory goes to the dinner party, and it's discovered that Mrs. Barrington, I think that's the name, Barrington, yep, wants her to watch the other guests. She doesn't know why, she just wants her to watch the other guests. So, sorry about the squeaky chair. So, she watched the other guests, doesn't know any of them really. And then after the party, Mrs. Barrington asks what she thought of them and she says, well, why? Because Mrs. Barrington's jewelry has started to go missing. So one of the guests asks her, Mrs. Ames, to go to his party. It's a costume party. So she goes to the party, gets hurt, and while she's in a room waiting for a doctor, they hear a gunshot. And Mrs. Barrington's nephew is the one that's killed. So, the story goes on from there. I loved it. I think I pretty much gave it a 4. Let me see if I can switch to, there we go. Yeah, I gave it a 4. The marriage is kind of, between Amory and Milo, is kind of weird, but it is 1930s, so I don't know if it's 1932 or if it even says, but I know it's the 1930s. 1932, London. So yeah, I gave that a 4. Okay, the next one I finished reading was When Stars Collide by Susan Elizabeth Phillips. It is book like 6, I think. 5 or 6 in the Chicago Stars series. And these take place like a couple years after each book. I don't think it's going to show me. Or if I could move the page with my finger. Nope. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on. There we go. No, it's not in order. Yeah, it's not in order, so I think it's like book 5 or book 6 in Chicago Stars series. So this one takes place between a second, what is it called? Second string quarterback. So he's not the star quarterback, he's the replacement. And an opera singer. And they are both ambassadors for this watch brand. So they have to go on this 6-week tour, and she thinks there's something up with him because her friend had told her about him. And he doesn't know why she's giving him the cold shoulder. Well, it comes out what happened, and she realizes that things aren't what they seem to be. She's also getting threats because her ex-fiance has killed himself, and she's got guilt about it, and his family blames her. Things do come out about him later, but anyways, so they're on this brand tour, and things happen. It's a romance, but this one's more romantic suspense, but not suspense. Mystery. And yeah, so I enjoyed it. I flew through this. So I gave that a 4 as well. And then I finished The Jury by Fern Michaels, and again, it's like book 5 of the series. The series starts off with Myra, her daughter Barbara, and her best friend Nikki, who Myra pretty much raised. Going out for dinner, Myra's daughter Barbara forgets something in the car, crosses the street, gets killed. So they, a couple years, maybe 2 years go by, and they decide to start this vigilante group and to get justice because justice is not being done. So each woman gets introduced through Nikki's law firm because they can't help Nick through the law firm, so they take it on as a part of the vigilante group. So that's what this whole series is about, and each book is about one of the other members, their story or getting justice. It's not in the order of how each woman gets introduced into the story. So it's kind of like pull the name out of the hat, and there's lots of intrigue and sophisticated technology, and because Moira's boyfriend used to be MI6. Yeah. So lots of that stuff in it. I loved it. Gave it a 4. The other book I finished was Shadow Fever by Karen Marie Moning, and it's book 5 in the series. It was a book of 5s this week. I gave this a 3. This was way too long. It did not need this. It was, she gets stuck in Silvers, spends a little bit of time there, but time is different, in the real world. So she's gone for months. Then she gets caught in the Silvers again. Comes back months ago. It was rinse and repeat, and it was just like, okay, enough. We get it, enough. And there was a couple of twists at the end that I was like, whoa. But yeah, it was just way too long, so I gave it a 3. Fae, different beasts, mainly Fae and fairy, druids, vampires, weird monsters. But essentially she goes looking for her sister that is found dead, wants to know what happened to her, gets caught up in this dark world with Seelie and Unseelie, and I'm trying not to say too much. She meets up with Barons, stays in his place. She can't quite figure out what Barons is, and there's a lot of sexual tension between them that was just enough. Like, I'm being sarcastic. It was just too much. So yeah. Currently reading, I'm just gonna go, I will probably finish these in the next couple of days. I have 2 books on deck, but I still have to do my November TBR. I haven't figured it out yet. I haven't had time. So when I have that figured out, then I will let you all know. But I'm reading 4 books right now. The first, I wanted it to be done by today. I was hoping to be done by today. I have 50 pages left. It'll get done by today, after this video. So it's Weeping on Wednesday by Ann Purser, book 3. I don't know if there's, oh, it's covered up. Let's see. I don't know what this series is called. The Lois Mead Mysteries. She's a cleaning woman who decides to start her own business, and her best friend and her daughter are working for them, and then they take on 2 new people. Bill, in this one anyways, Bill and Enid. There's a lot of mystery around Enid and her family because they moved back to town, but nobody can go on their property. They're very reclusive. Her brother Edward has been the talk of the town because he's got people after him because of debts, and yeah, so I don't want to say too much because the twist that's happening is part of the beginning, so that's all I'm going to say. But it's pretty much surrounding Enid's family, and she's like in her 40s and has never worked really. Well, she's worked, but she's got a reclusive mother that won't leave the room. She's got to take care of her, a ailing father, and a brother. So they get screamed at, or people get screamed at for coming out of the yard. So yeah. This is book 4 or 5 in the series. I'm just on a kick right now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cat with a Clue by Laurie Cass. It's book 5 in the Bookmobile series. And I just started this the other day. Didn't get very far. This is Minnie has had to take over as director of the library. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Oops. It's not really a big thing, but her workload has increased because she's the driver of the Bookmobile. She also works at the library as like a checkout library specialist. You know, I don't know what the term is. And so she comes in one day to work and finds a woman dead in bookshelves. It is a niece of a woman who had just died, and she is from here, Chilson, which is where it takes place, Chilson, Michigan. It's a made-up place, but they just discovered that she's only there or back in town because her aunt has died and now she's dead. So yeah, that's where that book sits. I haven't really touched this one except for the first story, which is Joe Hill's Strange Weather. There's 4 stories in here. The first one was called Snapshot, and there are pictures in here about a kid who his former nanny, or no, cleaning woman, shows up at his house, shoeless, wet, dirty, Alzheimer's. And when he brings her back, she kept saying, "Don't let the Polaroid man take your picture." Her husband pays him as a thank you. He goes to the store and meets up with the Polaroid man, and it goes from there. I think I said more in my last video. But that's all I've read was that story because I just haven't had time. So I will be starting Loaded, which is the second story. I'm going to cover that because that's part of... we'll use this. Part of like what happens. Let's see if I can... There we go. So that's the first one. Or the next story is Loaded. I don't know what it's about. It's just in Loaded, a mall security guard in a coastal Florida town courageously stops a mass shooting and becomes a hero to the modern gun rights movement. But under the glare of the spotlights, his story begins to unravel, taking his sanity with it. an out of control summer blaze approaches the town, he will reach for his gun again and embark on the last day of reckoning. And then there's 2 other stories in here. So, snapshot, I'd say would be a 3. And the last book I'm reading is Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. At first, I almost put it down because the first chapter, or first section, slogged. It was so slow. And then it kind of picked up, so I kept reading it. It's interesting. I like the premise of the literal Underground Railroad. However, the owner uses the N-word far too much. And I get it. It's the time period. I get it. But sometimes it's like he wants to see how many times he can use it in the book. It's irritating. Because some parts he doesn't use it at all, and then he's back to using it like 2 or 3 times on every page, and it's just like, okay, we get it. But this is about a girl who escapes. Her mother had escaped and was the only one who had escaped their plantation and was never captured. Everybody else has been captured within days, hours. So she escapes, gets on with Caesar, and goes on the Underground Railroad, and then it progressively goes from a certain specific person they meet on their journey, and then the next place that they are, like the next stop, and then a person from that place, and so it goes like that. I am finding it interesting. Like, I'm 2/3 of the way done, so far so good. So that is what I'm currently reading. I'm starting to get a cold, so I haven't been doing much sewing lately because found some more things out about daughter. Not going there. But anyways, so I've been kind of in a funk. I've been cutting out patterns, but anyways, I'm going to try and start vlogging on that channel. It's scam calls. So I'm going to start trying to vlog on that other channel. I will post a link below because I haven't done anything yet. I have done 2 videos that I have to edit and put up. One I did before my surgery, one I did last week. So anyways, what I'm going to be picking up, hopefully, and these 2 are to fulfill prompts of 1 million more pages. All the links will be down below. And it's Able-Bodied by Karen Foley. It is book 2. Oh, what is that? The name of it. Uniformly Hot miniseries. So the first one, I read a couple of weeks ago. I think, yeah, A Few Good Men by Tori Carrington, and it's about the Marines. I think these you can read out of order. I don't think they cross, but I like to read things in order, even if they don't cross. It's a thing. I know Sarah from, I don't know if she goes by Sarah Phelan now, or what? A Knitter Who Reads? Anyways, I'll post her link below. But she likes to read things out of order, and it drives me nuts. But A Few Good Men was 4 short stories in one about each member of this group in the Marines, and this one is Delta Force. So I'm not sure about it, but I will just read a little bit. All Ransom wants is to get healthy enough to return to the field, but sexy Hannah is testing his composure. The woman is under his skin, but she's also fleeing a shady past. Damn, hasn't he learned not to play with fire? Another book I finished was by Jill Shalvis, and it was a Blaze Flashpoint. I think it was the first in the series. And that one was about a firefighter who kept claiming, or noticing that each fire that he went to was arson. And the fire inspector, or his superior, was telling him just to back off and mind his own business. And the new girl that came in to work as an EMT, sparks flew. So that one I gave a 4 as well. It's Jill Shalvis. Her writing is just amazing. But yeah, so there's this one. It's extra spicy. However, the Jill Shalvis one wasn't as spicy as I was expecting it to be. So there's that. Anyways, because I think I finished it last week as well. So yeah, there's this one. And I forget why I picked it. I know this one was picked because you had to randomize. Let's see if I can find it. Or that could be for 52 weeks. This might have just been sort. Oh wait, I wrote it down. For once I wrote it down. Let's see. Able-bodied. Or maybe I didn't. No, 38. So 38 is sort your TBR by 50 books per page and by title A to Z. Pick a book off of any page, except for the first or last. So I picked this one. And this one was for, where is it? 34, I think. Sort your TBR to show shortest to longest. Pick a book off the first. No. Nope, that's the other one. Okay, we'll look again, because I know it's for the longest book. Man, I did not write it down. I know it was pick a book, or sort your TBR by the number of pages, and pick a book off the first descending. Like, so it's your biggest book. Pick a book. There we go. Number 35. Sort your TBR to show 50 books per page and by number of pages, longest to shortest. Pick one book found on the first page. I was not touching my Song of Ice and Fire books because I'm not touching those right now. But I pick a bigger one. Or my Outlander. I'm just not in the headspace, I don't think, for Outlander. But I read this in high school. I can't remember anything of it, and it's the Tommyknockers, and this is my copy from high school. I cannot remember a thing about it at all. And I even read The Stand while I was in high school. I read that one twice. I vaguely remember it. And yet other books I can remember really good. So this one will probably take me all of November because I will tab it off and read only specific amounts per day just to get through it while I'm reading other books. I do that periodically just if I have deadlines, and it helps me get through books. I don't do it all the time because that would drive me nuts. So that is my currently reading, my wrap up. If you made it this far, thank you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, comment, whatever. I try and view my comments when I can. And I respond to them when I can. So if I haven't responded to you, sorry, I'll get to it. And I think that is it for now. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye.